We all know how crazy the real estate market is right now. But if you have a home to sell, this crazy market also means that your home has probably never been worth more money than it is right now in this market. So if you're thinking about taking advantage of this crazy market to get top dollar for your home, I have one question that is crucial you ask yourself and have a really good answer for before you put your home on the market. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, the place where we have honest conversations about all things related to real estate. If you happen to be new here, my name is Eric Schweenard. I'm a realtor licensed in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. If you like this content, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. Without any further ado, let's talk about it. If you are thinking of selling a home, it is imperative that you ask yourself, where are you going to go when your home sells? But more importantly, not only do you have to ask yourself this, you need to have a really good answer for this question and a plan in place so that you know what you're going to do when your home sells. Because in this type of competitive market, it is not a matter of if your home sells. It is a matter of when your home sells, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go with yourself and all of your belongings? Now, this is always an important question to ask yourself if you're thinking about selling, but especially in the type of competitive market that we're in right now, this is such an important question to ask because it may not be as easy as you think to find some place to go once your home sells. If you end up with a buyer who is looking to finance your home, then you're going to have approximately 6 weeks to find a place to go and get all of your personal belongings out of the home. But if you end up with a buyer who is a cash buyer, which right now in this market, we are seeing a lot of cash buyers coming into the market, then you may only have as little as 30 days to find a place to go and get all of your personal belongings out. That's not a lot of time. Even if it's on the 6th weekend, that's still not a lot of time. You're talking about a month and a half to find a place to go and get all of your belongings out of the home. How are you going to answer that question? Where are you going to go? This is incredibly important because this competitive market, while it favors sellers, it is not a favorable market for buyers right now. In fact, it is a difficult market for buyers. And if you have to sell your home and buy a home, guess what? Once your home goes under agreement, you're officially one of those buyers. Now you have to go into this highly competitive market that is not going to favor you as a buyer. For instance, if your purchase of a new home is contingent upon or depends upon the ability of you to sell your home, you're going to find that you're in a really tough position as a buyer. Because with the way the market is, with so many cash buyers coming in, and the amount of buyers right now that are so desperate for housing that they are willing to waive contingencies like the home inspection and appraisals, you're going to find that you're facing a lot of competition that because your offer is dependent upon the sale of your home, that you're going to have a really hard time getting an offer accepted. It's the reality of the market right now, and it sucks. It's not fun for anybody, and especially when you're trying to sell a home and you're trying to make sure you have a place to go, you don't want to be in a situation where you're fighting an uphill battle. But unfortunately, in this market, the way it is, you are going to be fighting an uphill battle if your ability to purchase a new home is reliant upon your ability to sell your current home. The moment your home hits the market, that clock starts ticking. And while there are some protections that you can negotiate into the offer of the sale of your home to buy you some extra time, the reality is no buyer is going to wait indefinitely for you to find another home. And unfortunately, with the way the market is right now, with the low inventory and the amount of buyers on the market right now, it takes longer for every buyer to get their offer accepted right now, and you're going to be in that same window. So the moment your home goes on the market, that clock is ticking, and you're going to be rushing around to try to get your offer accepted, and you're going to end up in a situation where now you're going to become one of those desperate buyers that is desperately seeking housing. The problem with being a desperate buyer is that desperate buyers tend to make bad decisions. Either they start overbuying on homes, so they buy homes that they're paying more than they can really comfortably afford to pay, or they end up in situations where they're so desperate for housing, they're just taking whatever house they can get. And it's something that may not even work for you and your needs. And in those situations, you're going to go within 6 months to a year, you're going to be unhappy in that house and you're going to be looking to do the same thing again. Anything you can do to allow yourself to not get into that desperate housing situation is only going to benefit you, your experience, and your ability to find better housing. So what do you do to make sure that you don't wind up in this bad situation? Well, I mean, really that comes down to your personal circumstances and what you can do. But one thing that you can do is if there's any way for you to get any kind of temporary housing, whether that be staying with a relative or a friend or anything like that, is going to greatly help your odds if you can separate and independently sell your home and then buy a home. If temporary housing isn't an option for you, then another strategy you can take, and this does require you to make sure that you're working with the right real estate professional, is to have your real estate professional come in, do all the steps necessary to list your home. So do all the photos, the contracts, put it into MLS, do all the things that they have to do to get it ready to list active. And then don't list it yet. Get everything ready so that the moment you get an offer accepted on a home you're buying, they can then really quickly go ahead and activate that listing in MLS. Ultimately, it's not impossible to sell a home and buy another home. It just is more complicated in this market right now than it has been in years past. It can be done, it's just going to be more challenging than it has been previously. But if you're thinking about selling your home, then before you put your home on the market, make sure you have a plan of action so you know what you're going to do when your home does sell. Are you going to look for temporary housing, or are you going to try to find a way to make your buying and selling independent of each other to give yourself the best odds to get your offer accepted? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below or find me on Facebook or Instagram at ESC Realtor. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.